to another video. Today's video, I'm really excited about it. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. Today I'm going to do YA fantasy recommendations, but Black Girl edition. So I just like recommending books to people, especially fantasy books. Maybe you don't read fantasy and you're trying to find a fantasy book to get into. So I like recommending these books to people to start with. And we're doing Black Girl edition, which means all of the books I'm going to recommend to you guys today are written by Black authors and have Black FMCs. Like, it's just all Black girls, all Black women, all the time. So while I'm giving you these recommendations, I'm gonna give you a quick summary, a rating that I gave them, and why I think you'll like the book. It's just little, some of them are reasons why I like the book, but they're like universal things. Some of them are like themes within the book, or the writing, or just a whole bunch of different things. So that's how I'm gonna format this. There are a couple of rules for this. I think maybe one and a half rules. So the first rule is that if it's a part of a series, it has to be the first book in the series. Even if that first book is like lower rated than the second book or another book in the series, I can only use the first book in the series. And the second rule is only one book per author. So I have 7 books to recommend to you guys today. I had 8 until I realized that my 8th book is actually just plain like fantasy, like adult fantasy. So that one I had to scratch, unfortunately, but I might still bring it up just as an honorable mention a little bit later in the video because it's a great book. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into these recommendations. I'm so excited, so I hope y'all stick around and maybe you'll hear something that you want to read that you haven't heard of before. So let's get into it. The first book I'm going to recommend to you guys is Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray. In Beasts of Prey, we meet 16-year-old Coffee that works as an indentured servant at the night zoo with her mother under a cruel owner. One night, she accidentally unleashes an unknown power that changes everything for her. Econ is a warrior in training, trying to prove he is just as brave as his brother and his father. This elite group is known as the Sons of the Six. One night, the warriors are tracking a dangerous beast known as the Shatani to the night zoo. Coffee's mother tells her to run, but she is pursued by Econ. When the Shatani shows up, Coffee saves Econ by somehow staving off the Shatani, and Econ lets Coffee go. Now the two end up in the greater jungle, independent of one another, but both tracking the beast, Econ to kill it, and Coffee to learn why it responded to her, unbeknownst to each other. But the greater jungle is full of danger, and they have to learn to trust and rely on one another. So the reason why I think that people will love this book is that it has a lot of really great Pan-African mythology. While we were reading this book in book club, one of our members, every chapter, she would go and find anything in that chapter that was related to mythology, post it in the book club, and like so we could see how it relates to the story. And I thought that was really cool. Another reason why I think you guys will like it is because it has really beautiful descriptive writing. If you're like me, you are like obsessed with prose and visual, just beautiful imagery within writing, and this does this very well. Like, it was creeping me out and my skin was crawling. That's how like vivid the imagery was in this book. You also have 2 main characters that complement each other very well. Coffee and Econ are just, they fit so perfectly together. If one of them doesn't know something, the other one does. It works. Their dynamic just works out so well, and their budding romance is just so cute. It's something you don't see coming because of the way that they, you know, get together to begin with, the way they end up together. But it's just the cutest thing. And it also has great plot twists that'll like leave your jaw like seriously. And I'm probably gonna say that about most of these books because most of these books have amazing twists in them that you just don't see coming. But yeah, so that's Beasts of Prey. That got a 5-star rating for me. Second book I'm gonna recommend to you guys is This Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron. So in This Poison Heart, we meet Bree, who is a teenage girl living in Brooklyn with her mothers in their flower shop. She has a power to grow plants and flowers and has immunity to poisonous plants. However, Bree suppresses her powers to an extent, and she's unsure and afraid of those powers and using them fully. One day, a woman shows up to tell Bree that she has inherited a house from her birth mother's sister, who has just passed away. Bree and her mothers travel to Rhinebeck in order to move into the house, and Bree is left letters and keys that lead her to a secret garden. And that garden holds a lot of secrets about Bree's biological family that are uncovered throughout the story. So the main reason why I think people will love this book is, well, if you love Greek mythology, you'll love this book. There's Greek mythology all throughout the book. The main plot point, the main twist in the book have to do with Greek mythology and the ancestry from people within Greek mythology. Is just really cool. There was a point in time where I had planned out a whole video on the mythology and the botany within the story, because there are also a lot of really cool plants within the book that I've never heard of, that I wanted to like look up and see, like, why were these plants chosen for this book, or why were these characters given this name of this person from Greek mythology. I might still do the book. Let me know. I mean, the video. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing something like that. I started out doing it and just abandoned it because I was like, nobody's gonna want to see this. But if you guys want to see it, then let me know. Another thing I think you guys like about this video is that it's somewhat of a mystery, like fantasy mystery genre, which is something that it's not rare, but it's very rare that I find a book that like there really is like something that has to be solved, like fully solved, like following breadcrumbs detective mystery kind of thing, like a thriller. So I thought that was really cool. Another thing is it has themes of embracing your true self. Like I said, Bree was suppressing her powers and not fully using them, but once she starts using them to their full extent, she comes into herself and into her own, and learns who she really is and begins this self-discovery journey, which is great. The characters are all great. It was just very good. I gave this book a 5 as well. I actually just misspoke. I actually gave This Poison Heart a 4. I was confusing it with the second book. So This Poison Heart got a 4. The next book I'm going to recommend to you guys is Blood Scion by Deborah Valaye. In Blood Scion, we meet Sloane. She's a 15-year-old scion, which means that if anyone finds out what she is, it means death. If anyone is a scion in this world, they are immediately executed. She ends up getting recruited into the army on her 15th birthday and has to conceal her powers and survive the training, which is extremely deadly. She decides to use this opportunity to destroy this army from within. Unfortunately, the higher she rises, the more inhuman she becomes, and she becomes the monster that they see her as. Sloane also believes that the army is somehow responsible for her mother's disappearance, so that is her main reason and push for trying to destroy the army. So the reasons why I think people will like this book is it has a unique magic system. Within fantasy books, it's so hard to come up with something that hasn't been seen before, because there are so many fantasy books out there and so many different magic systems, and you gotta try to find a way to stand out, make your book stand out when you're using magic. So this magic system was really different. It was really cool. I liked it a lot. We also have a really compelling story that is driven by this main character who is like bent on revenge, but she's also trying to keep her humanity while seeking revenge on these people that possibly have something to do with the disappearance of her mother. So it's really interesting to like see this character that's somewhat morally gray, but you're rooting for her the entire time because you know what she's been through and you know what she's lost. So you understand why she's doing the things that she's doing. You also have more of the African mythology. You have a great enemies to lovers storyline, which if you're into that, then that's for you. So what people don't realize is that a lot of fantasy books, even if they're not fantasy romance, sometimes there is an element of romance within them. Not always, but a lot of the time there is some kind of romance within the story. So that's good. If you like the the enemies to lovers trope, that's for you. And then, like I said, I believe the most important thing is that you have a very strong female main character who is just fighting against an unfair, unjust system that sees her as a monster and not her for who she is as a human. So yeah, that was great. I gave this book a 5. The next book I'm going to recommend to you guys is Wild Blood by Lauren Blackwood. So in Wild Blood, we meet Victoria. She's an enslaved wild blood working at a jungle touring company. She has the strongest magic, or science as they call it, and uses it to guide and protect tourists in the jungle, which is very, very deadly. But she does this against her will. A group of wealthy Americans that are gold miners come to the jungle hoping to tour the most dangerous part of the jungle, and Victoria is apprehensive. The tour leader constantly ignores her and the jungle's warnings, and the group pays the price for ignoring her and the jungle. There's love, betrayal, and unlikely friendships unfolding throughout the entire story. The one thing I love about Lauren Blackwood is that her stories are always so grounded in reality, even though they're fantasy. So her settings are very, very immersive. This is set in a Jamaican jungle, which in her writing is so great. So it's another one of those, you feel like you're right in the middle of the jungle when you're reading it. Very, very vivid imagery. You also have great writing, a very, very cute love story. You have the found family trope with the group of people working in the touring company, Victoria's found family. And you also have what can be described as a pulse-pounding adventure, because you know there's danger around every corner in this jungle. And you know that at any minute the jungle can retaliate against these people, and people can be unalived. Anything can happen. So it's just very, for me as someone with anxiety, it can be very anxiety inducing, but it's also like very like nail biter, like, ooh, what's gonna happen next, what's gonna happen next, I hope everybody's gonna be okay type of thing. But yeah, Wild Blood got a 5. The next book I'm gonna recommend to you is Blood Like Magic by Lysel Sandberry. So Voya is our main character, and she's a young witch who is about to have her calling, which is a trial that every witch must go through to receive her powers. A witch is given a task to complete, and Voya's task is to destroy or unalive her first love. And the stakes are very high if she fails, meaning that everyone in her family will lose their magic if she fails. Since Voya has never been in love, she gets on a dating app and meets Luke, but he is not interested in her at all, and she has to decide between doing the right thing morally and saving her family's power, which means she has to decide between forcing this person she doesn't know to love her just so she can destroy them, and saving her family's magic. Why I think you'll love this book: it has a very, very, very like cool blend of fantasy and sci-fi. So if you are more of a sci-fi lover, this book would be for you, because it has a lot of sci-fi elements, and it's set in this really cool futuristic setting. Very cool futuristic setting in the book, that's the whole, like, that brings the sci-fi element into it, and a lot of the technology within the story brings the sci-fi element into it as well. You also have witches with unique magic. So like I said, she has to go through a calling to get her powers, but what she will get a very specific power. So every witch has a power that is specific to them. For example, one of her cousins, I believe, has the power to feel what people are feeling, make people feel a certain way, something about controlling feeling. But then they also have like regular witch magic that they can use to do like everyday things. So I thought that was really cool as well. And we also have a really, really great plot with really, really high stakes. Like I said, if she fails this calling, her family can lose their magic forever. So it's a lot of pressure on her to do what she needs to do to pass her calling and complete her task. So it's one of those, like, another one of those nail biting things, like, will she actually do this and destroy him, or will she just say, forget my family and I don't want to do this? And there's a great plot twist within this story as well. Just all of it is just really, it's just a really, really, really good book, and I was so excited to read this. This is a buddy read I did last year, I believe in April, and we absolutely loved the book. Like, devoured it, ate it up. It was just good. So this also got a 5 for me. The next book I'm going to recommend to you guys is probably one of my top 2 books on this list, and that is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. So in Legendborn, our main character is Bree, and she's 16 years old. She's attending a residential program at UNC Chapel Hill, which is a distraction and escape from her grief because her mother just passed away in an accident. On her first night on campus, she witnesses a magical attack, and seeing this attack leads her to a secret society of Legendborns, which we learn are descendants of King Arthur and his knights, and they are somehow linked to the death of her mother. So Bree works with Nick, who is a self-exiled Legendborn, to dig into this society's secrets and learn what really happened. She has to decide if she wants to join their magical war that they have coming or keep fighting against them to learn the truth of what happened to her mother. The main thing, especially for me, the main reason why I believe people will love this book, or you will love this book, is if you are really, really into Arthurian lore, then you'll love this book. I believe this is, and I've only read a few books that are based in Arthurian lore, but this one is my favorite, hands down. It was very uniquely done, and it was just I couldn't put it down. It was just such a good book, and it's not the type of, like, you wouldn't expect that this would be the type of Arthurian lore, this would where you would go with it. So I just thought that using it in this way was very, very, very creative. You also have a really cool magic system. Great characters, like both main characters and side characters. My favorite character is a side character, and all the characters are just very good, very well written, like even like I said, even side characters have depth to them. They're all really, really good. You also have a really great plot. It's paced very well. Great twists, like throughout the book, and especially at the end, like crazy twist that another one of those that's like huh, what, like jaw on the floor, just crazy twists. You have a lot of strong character development. You have beautiful, 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 beautiful descriptive, vivid writing, and probably my favorite thing is that it's a extremely diverse cast of characters. Like any and everybody is portrayed in this book. So I love this book so much. I can talk about it all day long, but I don't have all day. But Legendborn, definitely got a 5. And the last book is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Y'all knew it was coming. Y'all knew she knew she was on the way. Like, of course, hello. So in Children of Blood and Bone, we meet Zélie Adebola, who has been through a lot. She watched her mother get unalived for being a magi and Orishan with magic. And after the reaping, which is when all the magi were disposed of, all the magic has disappeared. But this changes when Zélie runs into the princess Amari, who has a way to bring magic back. And together with Zélie's brother Zane, they go on a quest to bring magic back for good while running from the crown prince Inan. But Zélie, along the way, must learn to keep her own magic, to learn her own magic, and try to keep her growing feelings for the prince at bay. Y'all know how I feel about Tomi Adeyemi already. I don't need to say it. I say it in almost every video I do because she gets brought up somehow. But this is just cool magic system. You have different groups of magic users with different magic. So you have reapers who their magic is dealing in death. You have connectors who are, anything dealing with the mind. You have healers. You have, I'm drawing a blank, you have tiders who control water. You have welders who control stone, I think, and metal. And you have burners who control fire. You just have all these different groups of people that do different kinds of magic. And they only can do the magic that's specific to them, which I love that so much. It's really, really cool. You also have a great cast of characters and great character development. You have characters who are horrible in the beginning or have certain thoughts about things and then their minds change along the way. You have characters who feel extreme doubt and within themselves and just come into their own and realize how much power they actually have. And I love that so much. And you also have the chosen one trope, which a lot of people love. There might be a prophecy in here somewhere. I'm a sucker for a prophecy in a book. So if there's a prophecy, I'm excited about it because I want to know how it's going to come to fruition, or if it even is, or if it's being misinterpreted one way and it turns out to be something different. It's just, this is just this. It's a great series. Even though I'm not gonna get into the last book because that's not what this is about. But I just love this book so much. It's the one. This is when I said Legendborn is the 2, Children of Blood and Bone is the one. That's the one I'm gonna always recommend if you want to get into fantasy. I'm gonna recommend that to you, and that also has a lot of great African mythology as well. So the honorable mention book that I'm going to bring up anyway, even though it's not YA, was The Blood Trials by Annie Davenport. I started to write that into my little script, but then I realized, wait a minute, this is not YA. I can't. But if you get a chance to read The Blood Trials by Annie Davenport, please do if you see it. Okay, well, that's the end of the video. I hope that I talked about a book that piqued your interest, that'll make you go out and try a fantasy book. Or if you already read fantasy but you've never heard of any of these books or never read one of these books, then you should go out and read one of them or all of them. Also, don't let anybody tell you that you are too old to read YA. I saw something about this recently, and you read what you want to read, period. There are extremely grown people who are still reading Harry Potter books, and that's a children's book. So you read what you want to read. If you like YA fantasy, read that. If you like just adult fantasy, then read that. You read whatever you want to. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever piques your interest. So yeah, that's my little tidbit for today. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe and turn on your notifications. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.